Attack as a correction. Attack as a correction. Attack as a correction. Attack as a correction.
And here things became rather complex.
I made a collage to correspond to every page of Jonathan Franzen's 2001 novel, The Corrections. More than 550 collages in all. Each collage is an analog, abstract version of what happens on that page. A reader renders black and white words into colorful worlds inside their own head. Every reader's world looks different. This is my world, a world of worlds of words. The Corrections in Collage is an homage that required a dismantling. I attacked the book, literally, by cutting up text from each page to paste on its corresponding collage. The snippets of text coalesced into collaged cones, little poems that make varying degrees of sense, like Zen Buddhist cones that demonstrate the inadequacy of logical reasoning to provoke enlightenment. Forever informing the unpretending was trimming. Nearly went into enduring unflattering redness and rust like you. Aesthetic judgments lived in toxic purposes only. Every time I read The Corrections, I am enlightened. I read this book on repeat and re-see myself. I revise myself. I correct myself. The text is a vehicle for reflection. To attack this book as a correction is to attack unpacking myself. I am kaleidoscoped across the characters. I see pieces of myself in the 3 grown children of the Lambert family, in Denise's struggle with coming out, in Gary's reckoning with alcoholism and depression, in Chip's disillusionment with academia. Have to see, I can see, to be seen. Who should be some garbagey nothing to be scrutinizing me? We absolutely have to see, you're suddenly to let her see. See, there I can see, any point in I can see, out of sync. To be seen could be transformative. Have to see right through the gulf below the day world, seeing. Stephen Burns argues that in The Corrections, Franzen was attempting a revisionary renewal of his postmodern precursors, enacting a Kleineman, the first of literary critic Harold Bloom's revisionary ratios. A Kleineman is a poetic misreading or corrective movement that implies that the precursor went accurately up to a certain point, but then should have swerved precisely in the direction that the new work takes. In this sense, Franzen attacked Don DeLillo's novel White Noise as a correction. White light is a combination of all colors in the color spectrum. White noise is the dissonant hiss of the patriarchy. If corrections themselves can be attacked as a correction, Franzen's interrogation of American patriarchal values can itself be interrogated. Backpedaling up the patriarchal tradition of ripping apart the head, see. Wandering toward the results of waking up. The intensity of whiteness would be just impossible to imagine. Probing beneath the right thing is the right of human tissues. Have to try substance as if mistaken about having got this. Perspective needed a purely vulnerable privacy of violence. Meaning is layered. The term attack implies violence, but it can also mean vigorous enthusiasm. Stephen Burns calls Franzen's novel playing out philosopher and scientist Daniel Dennett's theory of the self as a large collection of partly finished drafts. We are all comprised of layers. We are all collages. Worry eroded daily. I will sell that today. It was afraid. I was afraid to change. Are you listening? I can slice in situations slowly, trying to forget yourself. Meaning swerves as times change, as people change. As Franzen struggled with his precursors in writing The Corrections, so I struggle with him. I re-see the patriarchy and its influence on me. The death of the Lambert family patriarch at the novel's end gestures toward a new dawn of matriarchy, yet the most significant redemption arc belongs to a Lambert son, whose coda is that he has children of his own. A new father is born. Thus, this linear narrative must be scrambled to be corrected. This contradiction was reaching for a grand malevolence as a correction.
I need to do this correction in the general madness. If we look more closely at the layers, we will see more than we did before. Glossy images conceal unseen undersides. Meaning lurks beneath the surface of the words. The inner pocket of the page was a doctor, healing meaning, healing me. The experience of reading can be healing. The inner pocket of the page is the meaning I extract and distill. My own reading, my own meaning. Say somebody tested free of crazy stuff. Say somebody asked why to be in awe. The problem was unable to say in so many words, unable to say the outright ironic. I am the story of the course of a voice to break down. So much meaning was so continually aware, the shame and anger struggled so hard under strict orders.
By cutting up, I am blowing up the corrections to reconfigure its pieces into something I can make sense of, to make sense of myself, to make sense of a senseless world.
Pyramids of shrimp might even escape a violent explosion.
I knew the rag rug would have exploded for you.
Sorry to hear about my toughness setting off an explosion.
Bomb detonation countdown successfully started.